I'm delighted to say that the sun is shining on us in the south of England as we bring you the second special episode of History's Greatest Aircraft from the Farnborough International Airshow. Oklahoma have brought together a really diverse range of companies who share the stand space with them. And whilst we've repeatedly said that Oklahoma doesn't produce aircraft, you don't put in metal and cables at one end and get an aircraft out the other. You do get an awful lot of the components that go into those aircraft churning out of Oklahoma. They've got a system that's called step funding that has been really important, that the Chamber of Commerce have put in to enable companies to make that next jump, to make that step, to make them competitive on the world market. I'm going to see who we can interrupt for a couple of moments as we go through. If you're in the middle of a top-end important sale, don't let me interrupt you. You're Bill Norman? William Norman? No?
That's William Norman.
That's Bill Norman. Bill,
James
good.
Dover.
William,
Yes,
good to meet you. Nick, very quickly, you'll know that we're doing a live show for Oklahoma. Tell us what Swanda does and tell us how important it is for you to be in Oklahoma.
We do test cells and hush houses for testing aircraft engines installed and uninstalled in a test stand. This is important in that you've got Tinker Air Force Base, which is right next door, biggest MRO. So there's a lot of test cells for the Air Force that are produced and for foreign military sales customers. So it's very important that we're in Oklahoma, and that it's the biggest place and best location for test cells, biggest concentration, especially on the military side. So it's a good place to be.
And I can tell, as I used to live in El Reno, and I can tell that you're from, by your accent, you're from Far East Oklahoma as well,
Yes,
aren't you?
I'm like East Texas more than Oklahoma.
Listen, great to talk to you.
Thank you
and
very much.
Commerce supporting you well. I mustn't speak ill of them.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, it's great they give you a chance to do these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been working with all the teams around here, had a lot of good conversation with them, ways we can collaborate. So we're looking forward to working around Oklahoma. Yeah.
Actually, you're talking about Tinker. I'm going to ask you something that I suspect you won't be able to answer, you won't be allowed to answer. Are you supplying test cells for the, are they going to be working on your test cells for the re-engining of the B-52? I'm not going to press you. Let me tell you a little bit of a history story. So, way back in the midst of time, in the 1980s, there was a push to see if a man-powered flying device could be developed. So, sort of Leonardo da Vinci kind of style. And some folks came up with something that was called the Gossamer Albatross. You will correct me if it wasn't the Albatross, it might have been the Eagle, but it's the Gossamer Albatross, I'm pretty sure. A giant winged thing that was basically made out of the thinnest materials you could possibly do and covered in a kind of mylar cling film kind of stuff. Actually worked. They had an athlete pedaling in a cycle, turning a big, very lightweight prop, and eventually they managed to fly it across the channel. So that kind of thinking about that super lightweight aircraft then moved on, and there was a group of people who thought, what happens if we take the then emerging concept of solar cells? They weren't new, but solar cells that were that light and very small electrical motors. What if we took that concept and applied it to a very large aircraft, which they did, and it was successful. And it flew for ages, powered by nothing more than sunlight, and obviously they had some onboard batteries. Then they tried to expand the idea and went with, well, what happens if we try to fly it around the world? Or what happens if we try to fly it for 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever? Successful, made all the headlines, then went really quiet for quite a long time. What that team actually did was they disappeared off to Oklahoma, where they set up to do some research and development. And now, I wouldn't say they're back because they haven't been away, but this Oklahoma company have come up with something that is really, really clever. They call it towards perpetual flight. So you've got to think to yourself, perpetual flight. So the aircraft's in the sky forever. The answer is yeah, or until something breaks. Again, you're thinking, why the hell would you want an aircraft to be up there forever? Because you get on an aircraft and you go somewhere, or you take some cargo on an aircraft and you take it somewhere, you put it down and you bring it back. Why would you want an aircraft to fly forever? And the only way that you could have an aircraft fly forever is if you cover the entire aircraft with solar cells and you use obviously some battery support, but you use electrical motors to power it. Why would you want a plane to fly forever? We're going to find out, because we're going to talk to Oklahoma's own sky dweller. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to grab Greg. Greg, are you free for a quick word? And
Yes.
come on in. For our viewers, introduce yourself
I'm
first.
Barry Matsumori. I'm the President and Chief Operating Officer of Skydweller Aero.
So listen, we've just been talking about the background to this.
Yes.
And we've talked to our audience all the way through from like the Gossamer Albatross that was powered by human and
Right.
so on.
Right.
We talked through where you went with the original concept of this. I guess the overarching question is, and we'll talk about technology in a minute because it's fascinating, why would you want a plane to fly effectively forever?
Oh, I think the important point is the plane is a platform that enables all kinds of missions, whether it's military, civil, or commercial. So if you have something in the air, forget about what it is, and it can stay there and look at a place on the ground, and whether it's communications like a very high mobile base station, whether it's surveillance for maritime purposes to see borders, whether it's monitoring for fires, it's that thing in the air that can do that. And oh, by the way, it happens to be an airplane that looks like this,
Yeah.
but it's a platform that enables missions.
I'll tell you what really interests me about you, besides the fact that you're a proud Oklahoma company. I know you've
Yep.
got a base elsewhere.
Yes.
To the slight lack of sea around Oklahoma, that's a bit of a
Wait,
challenge,
I
isn't it?
want to push something here.
Yeah, go on,
OKC
tell us.
has the most amazing restaurants. It just doesn't get played up enough.
What sort of restaurant? I'm obviously going to make a reference to your heritage, but sushi restaurants, that kind of stuff. I'm not pigeonholing you. I'm just saying.
No,
I'm making some recommendations for
For
Oklahoma
example,
restaurants.
A brand new restaurant is Birdie's.
Bernie's, yeah.
It's got Birdie's.
Birdie's, right,
It's
yeah.
like New Age Korean.
Oh, really?
And then, of course, there's
Cattleman's?
yes.
Cattleman's what a legend,
yes,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, but more traditional.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely,
and
meat and
then,
potatoes.
I'm just losing.
Just
the name
reminding
of
you, you
another
are
one.
actually watching History's Greatest Aircraft in association with Oklahoma. But we're doing a kind of restaurant review at the minute, so stick with us.
Yeah, I'm
Keep going,
diversifying
keep
your,
going.
your
Yeah.
coverage.
No, it's good.
Anyway, so no, I really appreciate that.
Oh, I
just
genuinely
go-
meant get going with the restaurant. Make us one more recommendation.
Okay.
Do you ever eat barbecue? What's the best barbecue you've had?
Locally, it's Earl's, and Earl's
Yeah,
is
yeah,
pretty
like
good.
Earl's.
Is
Yeah,
pretty good.
We went to Snowy Joe's. What do I mean? Snowy Snowball Ice. Some up in Stillwater.
Oh, it's
Eskimo
still-
Joe's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I discovered a place on South OKC
Right.
that has 80 popsicles.
Really?
80.
Wow. So we
So
are talking.
is that telling you that I'm actually getting into
I
it?
love the fact that you're so OKC. So we're talking once again about Skydweller. So you've gone about this quite quietly, haven't you? Because everybody else, I'm not picking on people, but say Lilium, amazing aircraft, lots of press, lots of PR, billions of investment. Everybody's like, oh, we're flying this. Whereas you've quietly gone, by the way, we've got this aircraft that will fly forever, and people are saying to you, oh, good idea, and you guys are not, no, it's flying, it's
Yes,
real.
Yes.
Tell us about the mission
We're
then.
taking the step of first making sure that it works, that it's doing what we want it to do. And for example, we just made an announcement. We're going to do a round-the-world flight with our aircraft.
You are going to take us
Around
with
the
you,
world,
aren't
non-stop, no human, autonomous. That's never been done before.
if you want to see a documentary about a round-the-world flight with an autonomous aircraft,
Yeah.
please click and like below, because we're gonna do that. Seriously though, you've got it. It's man-capable at the moment.
It can hold a human,
Yeah.
but we're getting rid of that cockpit.
Because this is what's interesting. It's the other way up, isn't it? So you see a lot of other new concepts. Whether it's, well, there isn't really anything else like yours, but you see all these other new concepts are like, oh well, we've got a prototype going now. At the moment, that's got a pilot. Eventually, we want to make it autonomous. You're the other way around, aren't you? Like, we don't really. Sorry, what I'm saying is the other ones are at the moment.
Yes.
They're autonomous.
Correct.
We're trying to make it man-capable. You don't really want a human in your aircraft.
No, it's much better.
They're going to get bored and hungry quick, aren't they?
Humans need care and feeding, and if you're going to do an around-the-world flight, if you're going to fly from the west coast of the U.S. to the Pacific, if you're going to fly over the Atlantic, you can't have a human on board.
Who's buying this? Who will be buying this aircraft?
The first customers are going to primarily be military and civil. At some point, the commercial will come in there, but if one can see you're monitoring forest fires, one is looking at maritime border protection, one is looking at illegal drugs, one is looking at ISR surveilling an area that has conflict. This is the perfect platform because we're up there and we can host whatever payloads. The key differentiator here is that we can hold up to 800 pounds and supply 2,000 watts of power. Nobody else can do that.
I guess it's like, sorry, I'll come back to that in a second.
Yes.
So I guess it's like having your own local redeployable satellite. In a way.
It's a great way to do it because I came from
Yeah.
the space world, and you have low Earth orbit
Yeah,
and you have geostationary orbit.
yeah,
The great news of geostationary is it looks at one place on the ground
sure.
continuously.
Yeah,
But the problem is it's 35,000 kilometers away.
quite.
So the latency, the delay, the signal to noise ratio, the amount of resolution you get on an image gets
Yeah.
highly decreased. If you're down at 45,000 feet, all of that improves.
And you can
But
redeploy.
wait
You
a
can
minute,
just
but
point
wait
it where you
a
want.
minute.
Yeah,
What about
go.
low Earth orbit? Why can't
Yeah.
you go to that part of space?
Yeah.
The problem is orbital mechanics says that when you're at that part of the Earth, the satellite has to move. It
Okay,
cannot
yeah, yeah.
stay. And it's
So you're using
moving
energy.
a lot.
Right.
No, it's only staying in one place for about 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
So, whereas we can not only be lower, we're not at 500 kilometers or
Yeah.
700 miles.
Yeah.
We're down much, much lower. So the signal improves, we stay in one place, and you get the best of both worlds.
Wow. It's not a small device either, is it? I mean, this isn't something that's sort of, a bit bigger than a PA-28 or whatever. This is a really
This
substantial piece of equipment.
Boeing 747 wingspan.
Wow.
That's the way to look at it. But lightweight.
Also, what I wanted to come back was something interesting. You said the struggle with these aircraft previously was to get enough power to just get the engines running and get it off the ground and keep it in there. What you're saying is you've got surplus power
Yes.
on board to
Yes.
power
Yes.
payloads.
Yes.
That's
So
really
not
interesting.
only is it 2,000 watts of continuous power, if there are some devices that need a lot of power instantaneously, so we can provide up to 100,000
Wow.
watts. Yeah.
So it's been flying out of Stennis
So out of
currently?
Stennis, Mississippi. Yeah.
Wow, it's great.
And the reason is because we're close to the Gulf of Mexico.
Sure,
And
yeah.
right now we don't want to overfly people.
Yeah.
The best way is just to fly over and just immediately get to the Gulf and be in that arena.
How much does it weigh all up, and what does it sort of compare with in terms of weight?
It's about 5,500 pounds.
Wow, so that's
it's really
it's
a
nothing,
very
is it?
big glider
Yeah.
with solar
Yeah.
capability. Yeah.
wow.
In
That's
simple
amazing.
terms.
Listen, we love you for being from Oklahoma. I think it's a fascinating concept, and we really hope that we can engage with you more and try and follow your journey. I'm really proud of the stuff that you're doing, because this is, no disrespect to everybody else, all really great what people are doing. This is truly, truly innovative thinking. It isn't just taking, well, let's take electricity and sort of try and substitute it for a carbon-powered engine. This is something that does, for me, go all the way back to that sort of Gossamer Albatross. It's taken that spirit of
To me,
pedaling.
what's really important for Oklahoma is we're doing engineering in our Oklahoma office. We're going to continue to do that engineering. And yes, Oklahoma has a lot of business, but to do design engineering, to innovate designs for the plane, innovate software, innovate approaches, That's what really makes engineers get really interested in what they're doing.
And can you say when the plan is to do the global circuit? 'Cause I tell you what I'm going to do.
tuned.
When you do it, I'm going to take you out to dinner wherever you like in
Wherever?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Wherever you like in
By the way,
Oklahoma.
one more
You're
restaurant.
buying the drinks, but go on.
Freedoms.
Ah, legend. I love it.
It's a great restaurant.
We got a lot in common. Lovely to talk to you. Really, really, really great. Last time we spoke, you had you're in charge of Oklahoma's main principal airport.
Yeah, right.
So last time we spoke, Jeff, you just opened what I really, really like, which is your upstairs observation lounge.
Right.
Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, every airport had an observation lounge, didn't it?
Sure did.
And then they just went. There wasn't enough space for it.
Well, a lot of that was post 9/11 and new
Oh, yes, of
security
course, you can't.
requirements. It really
Yeah.
restricted people's access to even view the airfield. So that was probably a casualty from that.
So, of course, I've only ever passed through and been up there when I've been with you or as a ticket holder. You can get up in the observation lounge without having a
Yes.
boarding pass?
Yeah, I think
That's right, because it's segregated, isn't it? From the
right. It is.
Yeah.
So you don't go through security. You have access through two areas. You can see the whole airfield. You can look down into the checkpoint area and the concourse. So it just gives everybody an opportunity they used to have historically, and we love that feature, especially for kids. That exposes them to
Yeah,
aviation.
my kids loved it when they came over.
Right. So it's a great feature.
Lots and lots of changes at Wiley Post as well. Primarily, as far as I could see, on the commercial side, you kind of ramped things up in terms of shopping, food, and all the rest of it.
Right.
Really feels like a big little airport now. That's not an insult, that's a compliment.
No, yeah. So in 2021, an expansion was completed, added 4 new gates, new checkpoint, and then we just finished up development of restaurants and gift shops. That was a 3-year effort. So it's all been built out now, and our next project is developing a federal inspection station so we can host international flights.
Aha! For
That-
your secret terminal.
That's right.
It's not really a secret, but I like
Well,
to call it a secret terminal.
For now it is, because it's not complete yet, but it'll be complete by the end of this year. And then we'll be able to host international flights for people to fly into.
Wow, what's that going to mean then?
Well, it's
We're not going to be doing Heathrow
No.
Wiley Post, are we?
No.
No.
Will Rogers. That's
Did I
another-
just say Wiley Post?
You did.
Sorry.
That's okay. we have multiple
We're
airports.
definitely not going to be doing Heathrow or Wiley
Right.
Post,
No.
that's for sure. Sorry to Will Rogers.
That's okay. No, our target is really Mexico and Central America.
Okay, cool.
And we have a lot of people
Charter or
scheduled.
schedule? Really?
Yeah. We already have a lot of people from Central Oklahoma who travel to Mexico and the
Yeah.
Caribbean, and they connect to the hubs,
Sure.
Dallas and Houston and Atlanta, and and then we have a large population originally from Mexico who lives in Central Oklahoma. So we have that market also that currently travels a lot of times by bus to Mexico, and we feel that establishing nonstop service of that market to those markets would be very attractive to the leisure market and the family
Yeah.
market to that part of the world. So,
Wow. Oh, that's great, and I sincerely hope we get an opportunity to come through again. If you do have a chance to just think, we're going to go away for the weekend or whatever, go and see some of the groovy stuff in Oklahoma, because it's just really nice to fly into the airport. It's like all the things that you like from a good big airport, but it's just canned down to a usable size. I'm not saying that to suck up. It just is a really, really nice place. And certainly for myself and Luke and some of the rest of our crew, for a couple of years it was like, we're home now. We've got into it. So highly recommended. So let's take a look at some of the other stuff that's been happening today. delighted to say over the last couple of days that we've been here shooting these two specials for history's greatest aircraft. We've had the fantastic support of the state of Oklahoma, giving us access to their booth and their Diet Coke, amongst other things. They've also supplied us with some experts and some of the folks in the state who really make this industry tick. And one of those is Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnells. Lieutenant Governor.
Yes.
Good to formally meet you again,
nice
even
to
though
meet you.
we shook hands about 2 minutes ago.
That's right.
And it's all completely fake because
Yeah.
it's television. Can we, now, once we've got your Chief of Staff and the rest of your team, can we take a
Yeah,
walk to your
yeah, let's do it.
next appointment? Great. So, when did you actually get in?
So we got in a few days ago.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, we actually came over from Scotland.
Oh, did you?
We did a number of meetings in Scotland, and then came to London and straight to the air show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you what you're doing in Scotland, or is it none of my business?
Well, we were in Scotland to do the same thing that we're doing here.
Oh, right.
We're bringing Oklahoma to the world. And,
Sure.
And taking folks hopefully back to America with us to talk to them about why they should be doing business in Oklahoma, and in particular, aerospace business. Oklahoma, second largest industry in Oklahoma is aerospace.
Yeah. And I was noticing as well on some of the figures, I think 600 plus million is exported from Oklahoma.
That's right.
And also, it's, I think I'm correct in saying 64,000 people are employed not in the Oklahoma aerospace industry, but in foreign-owned
That's right.
aerospace
That's right.
industry.
That's
So
right.
that really speaks of Oklahoma, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and I also think it tells you about the power of aerospace in general. I mean, it's a global industry. It's a global competition for talent.
Yeah.
When it comes to aerospace and defense industry work, and a lot of that is happening in Oklahoma.
One of the critical elements that I find when you're dealing with somebody like you who's sort of in a political sphere and has really got the things together is, do you know where you're going? Because I don't know which way we're supposed to be walking. Any idea where we're waving to your security? They're over there.
Yeah.
That's great. Excellent. So you're pilot yourself?
No,
Oh.
no, not a pilot. No, the governor is a pilot.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
the governor's a pilot. No, you don't want me piloting a plane.
Pretty much like me.
Right. Now we certainly can sell Oklahoma. we're good at that. We're good at talking about why people should be in Oklahoma, why people should be working in. I really believe today that Oklahoma is the best state to live, work, or raise a family.
I think
I
you're
believe
right.
it, and in all industry, but certainly this week we're at the largest air show in the world, making that pitch to companies that are globally involved in aerospace.
We haven't shaken off your security yet. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
we're
right
here.
here.
We're here with some buggies.
Yeah.
Listen, just very quickly before we go, we've been looking at a lot of the military aircraft out there. So they say, don't they, that you get your aircraft built in Toulouse or you get your aircraft built in Washington, but you have them repaired in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma, yeah.
I'm going to say, do you know? And I think you do.
Yeah.
Every one, I think, maybe except for the Black Hawk, every one of those aircraft parked down there.
Oh, that's right. Every one of those planes out there has some piece of it. There's some piece in there, some widget, as sometimes we call it, that is from Oklahoma, manufactured in Oklahoma, or repaired in Oklahoma. We have two of the largest maintenance repair facilities in the entire country, the entire world, really, in Oklahoma. So we're really a maintenance repair state. But from there, now we're a space exploration state.
Yeah, well.
And so it's extremely diverse. Yeah.
We were talking to Craig Smith earlier, and he says that one of the plans is actually to get to a point of vertical launch.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I think we've got a little bit of technology to do until then.
We do. We have one of 12 spaceports in America. We've got one in western Oklahoma where you're talking about vertical flight, suborbital research being done in Oklahoma.
Fantastic,
It's
isn't it?
fantastic. Yeah.
Just very quickly, I know they're literally waiting to put you on a buggy, but obviously I'm going to detain you as long as I can.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, real sort of highlights for you that are coming up. This is the series that this is based on, the site that we're streaming on, it's History's Greatest Aircraft.
Great.
Now we know the fantastic history of we know we made the documentary, but one of, for me, History's Greatest Aircraft is about to have a total rebirth courtesy of Oklahoma, and that's the B-52.
Yeah.
How excited are you about that program? Basically, it's new engines for the B-52.
It is new engines for the B-52. Again, it's a whole new lifeline.
Yeah.
For the B-52, and I think it is one of the more special parts about we certainly have a long aviation history in Oklahoma, but we're giving new lives to planes. We're defending the world with the maintenance repair, but also the planes that we are now building in Oklahoma. Defending, we have one of the largest military veteran populations in the world. People that defend America, defend democracy around the world. When they're retired, they come back to Oklahoma because it was such an amazing state when they were on one of our military bases. So it's amazing to see these world-class planes that are defending people around the globe, and there's some part of that plane, some part of that product that was manufactured or repaired in Oklahoma. That's pretty special.
Just very quickly, and our 60,000 plus followers on History's Greatest Aircraft would not forgive me unless I asked you this question. Everybody has to answer this question. For you, what's history's greatest aircraft?
Oh.
Come on, try and make a choice.
You said the B-52.
Yeah, it's up there.
That.
I think
it's up there for me,
Yeah.
Just because of an Oklahoma perspective. Certainly, we've seen some F-14s, 15s, F-35s out here.
F-15's very popular with us.
F-15,
Yeah.
okay. The F-15, and we've seen some of the air show out here with those. That's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Certainly hard to beat.
I'm going to jump in on this one. And you see, you're hearing it, and totally, we haven't talked about it, so totally unprompted. We are very close to the F-15 being history's greatest aircraft. Everybody keeps saying
it's up there.
Listen, Matt, I really appreciate it, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you so much. And we'll try and get back to seeing Oklahoma sometime.
Come on back to Oklahoma.
Keisha, how's your day been?
It's going well. It's been a very good show.
Super busy?
Super. It's been a very productive day.
Becky's here as well.
Yes.
How's your day gone?
Great. It's been a fantastic
Good. Loud.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to go outside and see
I
those?
did not. It's been that busy. So hopefully I'll be able to see something before the end of the show. But it's been too busy.
Thank you for looking after us. We appreciate it.
Most definitely.
One thing that I've noticed this year at Farnborough International Airshow, and it occurs biannually, so you get 2 years to compare between air shows. One thing I've noticed is it's not just the usual routine of lots of middle-aged guys in suits. There's a huge contingent of women here who are really active in the industry. We're actually seeing people getting behind the job and understanding that women have a very, very important part to play in this industry, which is great to see. One of the women that we've dealt with for a long while is Alicia Pearson, who has come from the perhaps middle echelons of what she was doing at the Commerce Department and has ascended now to be a director. And I'm delighted to say that our own Ella Jackson, who recently joined us as a development producer, has had a chance to catch up with Alicia down on the flight line.
Our job is to grow Oklahoma's aerospace and defense business, or our industry in general. And we do that by trying to bring new business to the state, which is one of the reasons why we're here, as well as to support existing business in the state. So we brought a variety of businesses with us so that they can continue to grow what they're doing in Oklahoma and make new contacts, create new business opportunities for them as well.
What difference is it making?
So Oklahoma is specifically known for maintenance, repair, and overhaul. We have Tinker Air Force Base, which is the largest DoD air depot and or MRO facility, and then at Tulsa, Oklahoma, we have American Airlines, which is the largest commercial MRO facility. So we have all of that supply chain around that. And then we're also advancing our technologies with UAS and counter UAS. as well as in Fort Sill, some of our Army counter-UAS activities that we have going on.
The impact that must make just people in the community, also just giving them opportunities to like try new like career avenues and that kind of thing. Because I know you also have a bunch of grants at the minute, is that right?
So one of the programs that we offer is the State Trade Export Program.
That's it. Okay,
so it's
cool.
called STEP.
Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so it's a program that's funded through the United States Small Business Administration, the SBA, and it's to help small businesses expand their export capabilities.
Okay.
And so we brought 10 out of 15 companies that are with us to this show that have a place in our booth to talk about their business, to show what they're doing. But it helps fund them to go to international shows. It's helped in the past with website development in various languages. So it's just a great way to help support Oklahoma companies do more export.
Being a woman in this industry, which is like not often seen, like how are you finding it? How are you finding the growth and the change of the future of the industry? As a woman?
So you're right. It's definitely, you don't see as many women, but we're seeing a lot more. And I'll say that I've met with a lot of women leadership the last 3 days that we've been here. So I've been super impressed with the number of women that are engaged in the aerospace and defense industry in Oklahoma. We actually have some really strong women, active women in aerospace and defense, and our Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics actually has a Women in Aerospace and Aviation event, which last year brought over 1,000 people. So they do an amazing job pulling that together, and it's to celebrate women. And I think there were like 300 students that attended that event. So it's a great event for to help celebrate women and to get them engaged and show them the kinds of careers and the opportunities available in the aerospace industry. Right.
Well, thank you for everything you do. It was amazing speaking to you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.